In this video, I want to show you the top 5 tips for a brand new dirt bike rider. What's up, Rad family? I'm Dakota Freeman, and welcome to the Rad Adventure Dude channel. It's so important to a new dirt bike rider that you know these top 5 riding tips. The first tip that I want to go over is going to be choosing the right dirt bike. Depending on your size, weight, is all going to add in to making sure that you're on the right dirt bike to become the best rider possible. I've found, especially for newer riders, a 4-stroke motorcycle is going to be the easiest to learn on, just because it has a lot more consistent power and predictable power as well. This way, when you're learning how to accelerate on your dirt bike, you're not worried about accelerating and hitting a power band, but you can consistently accelerate through the gear, making it much easier for a new rider. Depending on your size and weight is going to depend on if you want a 150, a 250, or a 450. These 3 types of bikes are going to be really great for different level types of riders and all different sizes. If you're younger and smaller, the 150 will work great. If you're a little bit older but yet not super tall, the 250 is a wonderful bike as well. And I would never really suggest a 450 as a new bike for a new rider just because of how much power and torque this motor has. So I would stick between either a 150 or a 250, especially when you're learning. Plus, if you want to buy a dirt bike and have it to where it'll last you for years to come and you will grow into it, I would go with more of a 250 just because it has enough power to grow into, but not too much power to where it's going to be hard to learn on. Obviously, it all depends on you and your personal preference and your size, so take that into account whenever you're buying your first dirt bike. The second part of this is going to be, how do we learn how to ride a dirt bike the best way possible? When we're learning how to ride a dirt bike, we want to learn in the biggest open area that we can possibly find. This way, you can ride your dirt bike in circles and around a field and not have to be limited on cornering very tightly or anything like that. This way, when you get on your dirt bike, you can just simply ride around, practicing your cornering, practicing using the clutch, practicing using all the dirt bike controls, and really just becoming more comfortable on your dirt bike. And then as you become better, you can actually work on tighter corners and learn how to stop and start in the proper way. But since you're learning here and you're a new dirt bike rider, make sure you practice this in a huge open area so that way you don't have anything in your way whenever you're learning. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure you hit that and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future dirt bike riding tips. We also want to make sure that we learn the proper riding style to become the best rider possible. Our riding style is going to be the most important part of our dirt bike riding. Going faster and getting more comfortable on our dirt bikes doesn't come from just turning the throttle, but it actually comes from learning the fundamentals we need to do with our body positioning to get the most control and traction out of our dirt bike. The proper dirt bike riding control is going to be to always have our elbows up and our head forward over the handlebars. This is just going to make sure that you're forward on your dirt bike, giving you the most control over the handlebars possible. We also want to make sure that we sit in a good centralized location, so that way we're never too far forward or too far back on the dirt bike. This is just going to give us the most comfort whenever we're learning how to ride a dirt bike. The other important part about our dirt bike riding position is that we really want to focus on where our feet are. When we're sitting or standing on our dirt bike, our feet should always rest where we're standing or sitting on the balls of our feet. This way, we don't accidentally hit the gear shifter or the rear brake, and it provides our ankle with the most articulation possible. We want to get comfortable with being able to use our feet and move them forward when we need to hit the gear shifter or the rear brake, and naturally be putting them back to where we're sitting or standing on the balls of our feet. This is going to be some of the most important parts of our dirt bike riding position, and we really need to learn and practice these and instill them into our riding so we don't have to think about it when we're riding. This is going to make sure that we have the best control and comfort on our dirt bikes. The fourth tip that I want to cover is going to be what we need to be cautious about when we're first learning on our dirt bikes. When we're new to dirt bike riding, it's going to be very important that we're careful when we're using our throttle and our front brake. The reason we want to be careful when we're using our throttle is because, especially when we're learning, it's very easy to grab too much throttle and it might want to throw you back on the dirt bike. If you get thrown back like this, it might be hard for you to release the throttle, and that's going to be a huge disaster coming. So we want to make sure that when we are using our throttle that you're anticipating the way that it's going to throw your body, and that you know exactly how much throttle you're applying. This way, you can save yourself before you getting out there and having a big crash and losing confidence on your dirt bike. We also want to be very careful when we're using our front brake as a new rider. Our front brake is going to be how we end up using the brakes on our dirt bike to stop in the fastest way possible, but when we're learning, you really want to focus on using your rear brake first. If you use too much front brake, it's very easy that it'll lock up your front wheel, and that's going to put you on the ground. And this is why we want to focus on barely using our front brake and just feathering it. When we do this, we can use our front brake in a less aggressive way to stop the dirt bike and then gain confidence with this over time. You never want to just grab a handful of front brake, as it's sure to lock up that front wheel, and that's going to be a disaster. So as a new rider, be very careful and don't overuse your throttle or your front brake, especially when you're new and learning. The fifth tip in this video that I want to give to a new dirt bike rider is going to be seat time and how important it is to your riding. The most important thing when learning how to ride a dirt bike is that we get the most time on our dirt bikes as possible. Every single time you go out and ride on your dirt bikes, you're going to learn something and become a better dirt bike rider. And especially if you're practicing good riding habits with your riding position, this is then going to translate over later when you're riding, that you don't even have to think about these things when you're riding. And every time you get on a dirt bike now, you're going to ride with the proper position. So make sure that when you want to learn how to become the best rider possible, that you put practice in and honestly just go ride your dirt bike and have fun. That's going to be the most important part and the true way that we become the best riders. If you just try to instill and hammer in the rest of these techniques, it's really going to wear you down and make it very difficult, and you're not going to enjoy it as much. But if you simply just relax, think about the proper riding positions, and have fun, the rest is going to come to you. So if this video helped you, make sure you like this video, drop some comments down below, and ask me any other questions that you have. If you're looking for more riding tips, I'm always here. I've made a full dirt bike riding course over on my website that's going to walk you through being a complete beginner and take you to an advanced rider mastering the tracks and trails. I also give away a free dirt bike guide. All you have to do is sign up for my newsletter and I'll send it straight to you. Make sure you click the subscribe button that's right here and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future dirt bike riding tips. After that, you can watch my next video right here. Stay rad, and I'll see you over there.